Next, I'm gonna add a utility because we're gonna gain stage into our limiter, and I'm also gonna do something with this bass mono. So this is something that I like to do at the end of my master chain, not at the beginning, because this is just purely like a tool for me. I don't like to use it if I don't have to, but sometimes turning this bass mono on will clean up the low end of your track. So I'm gonna add that utility, and then I'm gonna add a plugin called Invisible Limiter. This is my favorite limiter to use because it's just so simple. And when I listen to it, it definitely is using like a combination of limiting and clipping in a really smart way. So we can get our track loud without it being too clipped, but also without it pumping too much like a traditional limiter would. Then I'm gonna add another plugin called Loudness meter. And what this is gonna do is this is gonna give us a readout for how loud our track is by using LUFS. LUFS is like a perceived volume loudness. So I'll explain more when we start boosting our limiter, but I'm just gonna put this on our master as well. It's not gonna be doing anything. It's just purely for reading the levels of our master. So let's press play. I'm gonna boost our limiter pretty hard, and then I'm gonna dial it back down until it sounds good. Okay, and I think that sounds pretty good. Now let's open our Loudness meter. Let's see what our LUFS readout is. Okay, so negative 6.5 is good. You could boost it louder. It's totally up to you. So this part comes down to taste, but I think between like -6, -7, sometimes going into -5.5, depending on how the track sounds. So it's all to taste, but I'm gonna press play and I'm just gonna keep playing with this. Okay, I think loudness wise, that sounds good. The last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just turn on this bass mono. What this is gonna do is this is going to take all the stereo information below 120 Hertz and collapse it to mono. And this is good because stereo information in the low end isn't really necessary, and it will take up space in the mix. So you can hear when we turn on this bass mono, I'm gonna drag this up to like 500 and you'll hear the low end get like cleaner and a little tighter, but if we drag it up too much, it might just like kill the character of our song. So we're gonna play around with it. think that sounds really good. I'm only hearing a very subtle difference, but that's what I'm looking for. I don't want like this gigantic change happening when I'm trying to cut the stereo information in the low end. So that sounds good to me. This is all sounding really good to me. I think let's just play it from the beginning and see if we like this master chain. Real quick, another plugin I'm going to add is called Tonal Balance Control. And this is just going to let us know if our master is balanced. And it probably is, usually is, unless you do some crazy adjustments. But it's always good to look at. So I'm going to switch this to fine. I'm going to turn up this width knob on our utility. Let's see if we can add a bit more stereo width. The loop on, but you get the point. I think it sounds really good. The last part of the mastering process is listen to your track everywhere. That is another reason what mastering is for, is to ensure that your song sounds good across all listening devices. So what you're going to want to do is save this, export it, go listen in your car, listen on your headphones, listen on your laptop speakers, your phone, and you just want to get to a place where it sounds great across all the major listening devices. And once you've done that, your song is done. It's ready to be uploaded, distributed, put on SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever, played in the club. So that's what mastering is for. It's to get your song to a competitive loudness level, get it sounding nice and consistent across all listening formats, and just overall sounding good, you know? Sometimes it is nice to process the entire song like all at once rather than solving some of these issues just in the mix. It adds like a nice glue and makes it seem like all the elements are working together as one. But that being said, you don't want to go overboard and be fixing problems in the master that you could fix in the mix. So none of this process was to fix anything. It wasn't to solve a problem. It was to just process everything together, add a bit of color, add a bit of life, and get it to a loudness level that I like. So that being said, I think we're done. I think that's everything. This was the whole song, start to finish. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's sounding great.